I need something spicy. There we go.
And we're back with another one. What's up, guys? This is James from MidWestSauce, and we are here with Zach, and he's got something spicy for us.
We got Bystial Resonators from after the Jack Atlas structure deck. Been working on this since the structure deck's been released, and it's been entertaining to say the least. Being able to calamity someone on the draw phase is kind of hilarious, and not sure why the cards still exist, but until it goes, I will continue to calamity people. Alright, first we got the Resonator part. We got 3 soul. This finds any level 4 or lower fiend from deck to hand. It grabs you your missing piece that you need for your setup. Then we got 3 copies of Crimson Resonator. I bounce between playing 3 and playing 2, but this is your main card that makes the deck go burr. Getting this back off of your Red Rising and then using it to summon 2 more Resonators out of your deck, typically going uninterrupted, and it's resolving this is what you need in your life. 2 copies of Vision. The card free summons, and it adds your spells or traps that mention Red Dragon Archfiend. I bounce between 2 of this or 3 of this. Depends on how my mood is for the Crimson Resonator. Card's solid. Then we got the 1 Synchron Resonator. You don't really need the level 1 that often, so you really only need it as a one-of. Card free summons itself, and it adds a guy back when you use it as synchro material. Then we have our non-tuners. We got 3 copies of Bone Archfiend. This card sends a card you control or in your hand to the grave to summon it from hand or graveyard, and then you could target 1 monster that you control, send 1 fiend tuner from deck to graveyard to either increase or decrease the target's level by 1. Typically, this is your main search target Alpha Soul Resonator, and then you pitch a card to summon this. You dump Crimson from your deck to make Soul Resonator 2 to get your Red Rising Dragon play going.
Okay.
Card's really good. 1 copy is Salamander Catalyzer. It's another fiend that is a level 4 non-tuner that could summon itself from the hand. That's about it. You could play this, or you could play Wild Wind. Both are fine, and they each have their uses. Then we got the Bystials. 2 copies of Lubellion. I want a 3rd, I just don't have one yet. But for the moment, we got Lubellion here as a 2-of. Soul Resonator plus this, or Crimson Gaia plus this, is full Calamity Lock. It's really funny when it actually pops off. We got 3 copies of Sorinir. This is actually the best Bystial on this deck. The Bystials being level 6 non-tuners that could just summon themselves, and then this gets you to Lubellion, or if you already have Lubellion, it could get you to each of the Branded or Branded Regained, whichever one you need. So then your Lubellion goes and gets Branded Beast to get the card back during your end phase. Cards are really good. 1 Jerusalem, 1 Magnamut, 1 Baldrake. You just need more names. This helps quite a bit versus Unchained, but you really just need them for names. 1 copy of Obsessive Uvaloop. If you already have your Bone Archfiend, this, or your Crimson Resonator, this is the card that you either grab off of Soul Resonator or dump off of Bone Archfiend. It helps you extend, or just banish your Dragon Synchros from your graveyard to either add it back to hand or summon it from hand to easily turn your Dissipator or your Red Zone online. Card's really good. Played 3 copies of Salt Synchron. I'm just in love with this card. You don't actually need it. but the card's really good. Being able to like make your disc patter and then sack it off for Lubellion to, and then this being able to immediately pull back the dissipator is really good. Or like if you have this in the graveyard on your opponent's turn and you use Branded Beast to sack off your dissipator to pop something, this will trigger to banish itself to immediately pull the dissipator back from your graveyard. Especially helps when it gets like impermed or dropleted or dark rulered. It helps turns the effects back on when you have access to this card. It's really good.
So it helps recur a little bit.
Then we got hand traps. I only main 3 Ash because I'm also on Bystials. The sideboard has a bit more, but the deck's got enough gas. You just want a hot red dragon to King Calamity cheese people out of the game.
Yeah.
You're meant to go fast and go burr. 3 copies of Crimson Gaia. We need to find Soul Resonator. We're playing max copies to be able to find Soul Resonator. This being able to grab any monster that mentions any monster or spell or trap that mentions Red Dragon Archfiend gives it a lot of utility, and then it also helps when you go second. You can use this to go find your missing piece, and then when you make regular Red Dragon Archfiend and you attack with it, this will trigger to flip all their monsters that they control face down defense. So then you get RDA's effect when he attacks a defense position monster to wipe their field. Hurts really good. Resonator call. Adds a Resonator from deck to hand. It goes and finds your Soul Resonator. Card solid, mandatory, play 3.
Pretty simple, but pretty good.
Yep. Next, we have our Lubellions / Sorneer targets that we get to. These cards are good. This one, being able to draw you an extra card on each turn, or like being able to summon back a guy when your opponent normal with specials. It's really nice. Helps out in grind games. Beast pops cards and gets back one of your missing piece between regained or etude. These are in the graveyard. Solid. This card is how we Calamity people. It's got a quick effect during either player's turn to be able to synchro summon using monsters you control. Then if you have a Bystial, you can summon back. If your opponent uses monsters on field for fusion, links, or synchros, it puts them under a macro effect for those types of summons.
Okay.
Card's really nice. We have our search targets for Vision Resonator or a Crimson Gaia. This is essentially a Farfa. It could target a monster with 2,000 or more attack, banish it until the next turn's end phase. And then if you play Fiendish Chain and have an RDA, it sets Fiendish Chain from your deck or graveyard. And then this card, if you control Red Dragon Archfiend or a card that mentions that if your opponent activates a monster or a card or effect, you could target a card that they control and pop it. And then once per turn, you could special back a Dark Dragon Synchro monster in your banish pile, which is easy with the Bystials that you play and Obsessive Overloop. Card's really good. Last, 3 copies of Imperm. Helps you go first, helps you go second. Just provides pretty decent over interruption versus a lot of different decks. I wouldn't really play this game without it. That's the main deck, 40 cards.
As far as like some of the traps that you have, do you prefer having them as like one-ofs?
Yeah. Yep. Games don't typically last that long for you to need multiples. If your game's gone on long, the deck's not doing its job. It's very aggressive and wants to close the game out early. The deck's full of big bodies that like to swing for lethal. That's the main deck. Next we have extra.
How many cards is the main deck?
It's 40, might be 41.
Okay.
One of those.
Okay.
I don't fully remember. 3 copies of Red Rising Dragon. Card's solid. This is your main go-to point of what the deck wants to do. Being able to pull back a Resonator from your graveyard, primarily a Crimson Resonator, to start your combo. It feels really sad if this gets negated, but also it is not a hard once per turn for the summon from grave of a Resonator. Card's really good.
Sounds like it, especially not being once per turn.
Next we have our 1 level 7 target, Curry Belt. When you make this, it pops a card on summon. It's really nice. You don't make it that often, but when it comes up, the extra removal is helpful. Also, like E2 to the branded can let you make this on your opponent's turn as another interrupt, which is nice.
That's pretty cool.
Next we have Scarlight, Red Dragon Archfiend. I know it's hard to see, but this is Scarlight. It clears the field, does burn damage, it's there for time. It is also treated as Red Dragon Archfiend on field and graveyard. It comes up. Next we have 2 copies of Scarred. This is the new RDA. This is the first level 8 that you make in your combo. Card's really nice, being able to float out into vanilla Red Dragon Archfiend, and it's treated as a synchro summon, lets you recur it back. And then if this leaves the field by a synchro summon, it destroys all face-up attack position monsters your opponent controls. Also helpful. 2 copies of RDA. We're on 2 Scarred, so we play 2 copies of RDA. It's Red Dragon Archfiend. It's what the deck revolves around. You need it. I play 2 copies of Hot Red Abyss. This card negating any face-up card on the field is really nice. Being able to potentially stop Dark Rollers, potentially stopping Droplets, or like just any sort of normal spell, normal trap, or any monster that they play is really nice. The second effect comes up every once in a while, but typically you're swinging for lethal. 1 copy of Chaos Angel. It's Chaos Angel. E2 lets you make this on your opponent's turn, and typically you use Vision Resonator, Crimson, and your Lubellion, so you also get both effects from Chaos Angel. Card's really good. 1 copy of Bane. Tributes a guy to pull back a Red Dragon Archfiend from your graveyard. It's really nice. It's also a fat body that when it deals damage, it pulls 2 tuners back from your graveyard. The card's really good. Dispatter. This is probably the best Dark Dragon Synchro monster that's been created. You could do a lot of dumb things with this card. It effectively helps you set up your Calamity lock, which is really nice. Being able to pull back into your banished cards is really nice, plus provide interruption. Card's insane. I've debated on playing 2. And then we have Calamity. I don't know why this card's not banned yet. But being able to tell your opponent that they cannot play the game because you made it is really nice. The fact that it can miss timing is kind of annoying, but other than that, this card's really good and shouldn't be legal.
Has the mistiming ever come up for you?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Now this is a rough draft of the deck, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, this is like version 2.0.
Okay.
A lot of it is just getting the ratios down,
Yeah.
and missing a 3rd Lubellion doesn't help. But next we got Sideboard. This was kind of just thrown together, but it's been kind of nice. We got 3 copies of the card that outs towers cards. You need them, you like them. Also, dealing with Wave King High Caesar or Nightmare Griffin is a problem, and you need your answer to get rid of it. So Kaijus do that. Next we got DD I know I'm on a bunch of Bystials in the main deck, but this being able to hit the Pearly spell that Lily targets this being able to hit Unchained Blue Dog. Actually, either Blue Dog is nice, and then it's got a nice matchup spread across the board. This plus Bystials typically tells graveyard decks that they can't play. Droll. Droll is Droll. Hard combo dies to this card. My deck also dies to this card. You don't need it in the main deck, at least from what I have ran into, but it should be somewhere in your main or side, unless if your deck just has a good time against hard combo. Labyrinth is a pain. I lose to that deck if I play against it. This is the only card that's really for it besides these evenlies. But other than that, this is really all you board in versus your trap decks that exist. There's a lot of other decks being able to play around this is rough. But when you play against Rescue Ace, these cards are very good. And then we have two one-ofs, Change Your Heart and Dimensional Barrier. Cards each have their own utility. I actually want to put a second barrier here, and I would drop the Change Your Heart since I get locked into synchro, so I can't really make links. So this is easily cuttable. I just can't find my second secret, so I'm just playing them as one-offs. And then D-Barrier is D-Barrier. No ifs, ands, or buts. You should probably be siding this.
Yeah.
Card's good, but that's it.
All right, Zach. Thank you for this video. What you plan on making next?
I've got like the works of a really neat volcanic sprite deck that I've been messing with. Mannequin Cat is a really cool Yu-Gi-Oh card.
Yeah. All right. And we're out. Like, comment, and subscribe.